Well, hello. What is retirement? Well, I hear a lot about it's all about giving up things, like giving up a regular income, a reliable income, giving up a job, giving up social interaction with other people. It's all about giving up things, but I found it's not about giving up, it's about gaining control of my time again. And how we all choose to do it is up to us. Um, for myself, I've gained control of the time, my income, how I spend what little income I have. And we're so used to negotiating payment for our time. That's what we do basically when we start on the workforce. We negotiate a certain amount for our time. Now, once you're retired, let's talk about income. Now, for myself in New Zealand, we have a pension at 65 allocated by the government, and that's paid fortnightly. And of course, it just will vary around the world depending on where you predominantly worked, whether you'll be entitled to a pension in old age or not, and how much it will be. And if you've served in the services, the armed forces, you may have a pension as well from something like that. And each individual will have their own circumstances. For myself, my income is from a pension paid fortnightly. After taxes, it's just over 1,000 New Zealand dollars, and I have a small revenue from this channel, thanks to you lovely people who sit through ads, which I'm very, very grateful for. But that has a cut-off point there where you have to earn a minimum of $130 New Zealand dollars a month, or they don't pay you. So you have to earn that. So that's what I call pocket money, and I'm very grateful for it. And I squirrel that away. And in the event of my next project, I will need to have some funds to buy a solar-powered battery. Anyway, I'm getting off the track now, aren't I? So you have to think carefully about your time because that is your biggest commodity. As I said, in the past we negotiated and got an hourly rate for our time, and when you're retired you just get that some amount each fortnight in my case, and you've got to spend that wisely. And if you choose to work part-time or have other interests, hobbies that could supplement that income, is up to us, each individual, and how we save it. And by living in a camper van, that was my way of making that pension eke out a lot further than it would do if I'd paid rent. Well, honestly, I couldn't. $1,000 a fortnight, that's about roughly about $500 a week. Well, that's what most places rent uh, costs in New Zealand that I've seen. It's usually around about that, and if it was less than that, you'd be lucky, and you'd have to pay your services out of that as well. But anyway, I digress. Living in the van was my solution to eke that money out, which is great because that's exactly what it's done. It's allowed me to live a lot more frugally. Now I save money by going to opportunity shops for buying clothes and shoes, and that provides me, because I'm not really a fashionista, so I'm quite happy with finding clothing that I really like, that suits me, suits my personality, and the price is right. $5 an item, you can't go wrong with that, and that's an average. So that's the thing, is that we're given that time, and like I said, we have to manage that carefully, and I'm guilty of not managing my time very well at all, because you may say to yourself, okay, I'm no longer working, but we forget that there's a part of us that stays in working mode long after we retire. We cannot help it. It's been something we've done for so long that it becomes second nature. And so I started inventing things by being an enabler, because I spend quite a bit of time helping one of my daughters with her children. Now, I'm a person who sees a problem and wants to fix it. But I've come to this conclusion that if I do that, although my intentions are very good, what I'm actually doing is preventing my daughter in particular, and my grandchildren to a certain degree, I'm preventing them from learning mistakes, solving problems, because I jump in and try to rescue them, don't I? So I've come to this point just recently where I'm reconsidering, when my first inclination is to jump in and help, I'm just stepping back as the observer, which I've mentioned in previous videos, and say, now hang on a minute. Are you satisfying something in yourself as a person who wants to help and assist? Or, what is my motivation? So I have to look at it closely to see if I get my, not kudos, but make that feel good feeling. I'm doing these things because it makes me feel good, and they're not necessarily the right thing to do. So I'm still in the process of looking at it and considering what is the right thing to do. Where do you draw the line? And that's a tough one. As a mother, I find it hard to draw that line, but I'm working on it. And therefore, allow myself more time for myself. And that might come across as being selfish, but I am sure if you're in my age group and coming up to it, you'll understand perfectly what I mean. Yes, the feeling of wanting to be needed, and it comes down to a point where you need to feel wanted in society, still required, and that's what working did. You got that pay at the end of the week, you got promotions, you got thanked for doing what you were doing, and you take those sort of things for granted maybe, but when you're not working anymore, those things aren't happening. You're not being thanked for anything. So I suppose there's a part of you that needs that validation. And so I'm thinking that perhaps my desires to help people now that I'm retired stems from that. It's that the gratitude, which makes you feel, it's not about boosting your ego so much as making you feel that you're still a part of society, that you still have value. And it's about not feeling left on the shelf, put to pasture, as they say. So yes, that's my learning curve at the moment, and those are things to consider when you come up for retirement, and the importance of still feeling worthwhile to society. That is important. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm reevaluating some of my motives and allowing people to live their own lives without me assisting, because one day I won't be here and they'll need to know how to cope with life on their own. And the only way we ever learn is the hard way. Let's face it. Nobody can tell you anything. It's not until you really have hurt yourself, either physically or mentally, emotionally, and then you really jolly well remember that, don't you? That lesson. So if you're coming up to retirement, considering it, bear these things in mind from someone who's now been retired for a couple of years now, coming up a couple of years, and I still haven't got it sussed, that's for sure. But as usual, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really do appreciate you, and I hope that you have a great week. Continue having a great week, and look forward to doing something with your time off on the weekend. So until next time, take great care of yourselves and keep smiling, most of all, especially in these times. So until next time, bye for now.